Dear learners, welcome you all to e-learning platform. Now you have reached week 2. In this week you are going to learn the biography of John Keats and one of his poems, Ode to Nightingale. Me, Faisal Ahmed, with you throughout the whole lecture. Faculty member of the Department of English, World University of Bangladesh. Let's begin. John Keats is called the poet of beauty and truth. Beauty is truth and truth beauty. That all you need to know. And that all you know. The life of John Keats. John Keats, born in 1795 and died in 1821. He died very young. He was the eldest of 4 children of his parents, sent to a small boarding school with a more progressive and liberal curriculum. His parents could not afford the more prestigious Harrow or Eton after his mother died. He was apprenticed to learn medicine. After 4 years in a school where his literary interests were encouraged, he was apprenticed at the age of 15 to learn medicine. Keats completed his medical studies at Guy's Hospital in London at the age of 21. He then made the conscious decision to become a poet and gave up his medical studies. So his parents wanted him to become a surgeon or a doctor, but he imagined to become a poet. That's why he gave up his medical studies. Early career. John Keats was apprenticed to a surgeon in 1811. He broke up the apprenticeship in 1814 and went to London, where he worked as a dresser or junior house surgeon at Guy's and St. Thomas's hospitals. His literary interest had crystallized by this time, and after 1817 he devoted himself entirely to poetry, writing poetry, which he cherished and loved. Dark times of his life. His father died when he was 8 years old, fall from a horse, and his mother died of tuberculosis when he was 14. So he became an orphan. His brother Tom died in December 1818 of tuberculosis, the same disease. And the same disease he also died. Struggled financially his entire life and also physically, and died very young. Love life of John Keats. John fell in love with Fanny Brownie but never married due to his poor health and money problems. He left her in 1820, moving to Rome and never seeing or speaking to her again. She mourned his death for 6 years before finally marrying someone else. John Keats' death. In 1820, John and his artist friend Joseph Severn moved into a house near the Spanish Steps in Rome, John Keats died at the age of 25 on February 1821 of tuberculosis, the same disease his brother and mother died. And he's buried in the Protestant cemetery, and there is a sentence on the stone of his cemetery: "Here lies one whose name was written in water." So we're gonna analyze one of his poems, a very famous one, Ode to a Nightingale, dedicated to a bird's song. A poem by John Keats. So this is the text first, then we will go through the analysis, including the structure, symbol, theme, critical analysis, and other things. Let's begin with the text first. My heart aches and a drowsy numbness pains my sense, as though of hemlock I had drunk, or emptied some dull opiate to the drains. 1 minute passed, and late words had sunk. 'Tis not through envy of thy happy lot, but being too happy in thine happiness, that thou light wing dried up the trees in some melodious plot of beechen green and shadows numberless, singest of summer in full throated ease. Stanza 2. Oh, for a drought of vintage that hath been cooled a long age in the deep delved earth, tasting of flora and the country green, dance and provencal song and sunburnt mirth. Oh, for a beaker full of the warm south, full of the true, the blushful hippocrane, with beaded bubbles winking at the brim, and purple stained mouth, that I might drink and leave the world unseen, and with thee fade away into the forest dim. Stanza 3. Fade far away, dissolve, and quite forget what thou among the leaves hast never known, the weightiness, the fever, and the fret here, while men sit and hear each other groan, where pulses shakes a few sad, lust grey hairs, where youth grows pale, and spectre thin and dies, where but to think is to be full of sorrow, and leaden-eyed despairs, where beauty cannot keep our lustrous eyes, a new love pine at them beyond tomorrow. Stanza 4. Away, away, for I will fly to thee, not charioted by Bacchus and his birds, but on the viewless wings of poesy, though the dull brain perplexes and returns, already with thee tender is the night, and happily the queen moon is on her throne, clustered around by all her starry face. But here there is no light, save what from heaven is with the breezes blown through verdurous glooms and winding mossy ways. Stanza 5. I cannot see what flowers are at my feet, nor what soft incense hangs upon the boughs, but in embalmed darkness guess its sweet, wherewith the seasonable month endows the grass, the thicket, and the fruit tree wild, white hawthorn, and the pastoral eglantine, fast fading violets covered up in leaves, and mid-May's eldest child, the coming musk rose full of dewy wine, the murmurous hunt of flies on summer eves. Stanza 6. Darkling I listen, and for many a time I have been half in love with easeful death, called him soft names in many amused rhyme, to take into the air my quiet breath. Now more than ever seems it reached to die, to seize upon the midnight with no pain. While thou art pouring forth thy soul abroad in such an ecstasy, still wouldst thou sing, and I have ears in vain, to thy high requiem become a sod. Stanza 7. Thou wast not born for death, immortal bard, no hungry generations tread thee down. The voice I heard this passing night was heard in ancient days by empire and clown, perhaps the self-same song that found a path through the sad heart of wrath, when seek for home she stood in tears amid the alien corn, the same that ofttimes hath charmed magic casements opening on the foam of perilous seas in fairy lands forlorn. Stanza 8 and the last stanza. Forlorn, the very word is like a bell to toil me back from thee to my soul's self. Adieu, the fancy cannot cheat so well as she is fain to do, deceiving elf. Adieu, adieu, thy plaintive anthem fades past the near meadows, over the still stream, up the hillside, and now 'tis buried deep in the next valley glades. Was it a vision or a waking dream? Fled is that music, do I wake or sleep? That's the end of the recitation of the poem. So now we're gonna have a summary of the poem. The poem focuses on a speaker standing in a dark forest, listening to the beguiling and beautiful song of the Nightingale bird. Here you can see the bird's image. This provokes a deep and enduring meditation by the speaker on time, death, beauty, nature, and human suffering, something the speaker would very much like to escape. Structure of the poem. Ode to a Nightingale is a particular kind of ode, lyrical poem, usually written to be sung. A Horatian ode after the Roman poet Horace. The style is followed. The poem has 8 separate stanzas of 10 lines each. So, in a total 80 lines poem. And the meter of each line in this stanza, except for the 8th, the last line in each stanza, is iambic pentameter. The 8th line is written in iambic trimeters. Now we're going to talk about themes in the poem. The major themes in the poem appear as death, immortality, mortality, and poetic imaginations. So these are some of the major themes of this ode. Keats says that death is an unavoidable phenomenon in human life and other animals. To him, life is mortal, but the song of the nightingale is immortal. It has been a source of enjoyment for centuries and will stay so even after his demise or death. Symbol, Nightingale. In Ode to a Nightingale, Keats uses the symbol of the nightingale to represent immortality through its ecstatic, melodious song, the song of the bird, which is very charming, beguiling, fantastic. The speaker notes how the bird will live forever through its song, which it has learned from its ancestors and will pass down to its descendants. Critical analysis of the poem. Life is critical, but Song of Nightingale is not. An ode to a nightingale is its appreciation. It is also about her life's experiences of the poet. It is a journey from real world to the world of imagination, the world of escape from the suffering and struggling world. The poet escapes to the world of Nightingale. He finds imaginative world more peaceful and harmonious, melodious than the real world, which is full of sorrows, sadness, and sufferings. However, he is alone there too. Ultimately, he returns with a lesson that escape is possible only with death. Oliver Elton, a critic, is of the view that this ode has variety of passionate expressions. Indeed, Ode to Nightingale is not only about critical life and appreciation of Nightingale's song, but also an expression of feelings and emotions. Stanza to stanza, poet's thought develops. His mood changes and he expresses his emotions. John Keats in Ode to a Nightingale makes a comparison between several things. Some of them are art and life, mortality and immortality, imagination and reality, world of mankind and world of nightingale, natural beauty and artificiality, pleasure and pain, life and death, joy and sorrow. Conclusion. Ode to Nightingale, in a nutshell, is the expression of feelings of eternal joy and ecstasy. It is a highly impressive poem of John Keats. The poem is evident that he is a true romantic and a pure poet. It reveals his strong imaginative powers. He has successfully managed making comparisons and demonstrating nature and its objects. He has proved that Song of Nightingale is immortal. It has also been proved that imagination is pleasurable and the life is painful. Sidney Colvin's remarks are worth mentioning. He said, the poem Ode to Nightingale is among the varied glories of the English poetry as a whole. And that's the end of week 2's lesson. Thank you very much for being with me. And goodbye. More lesson you will get in the next week. So until then, bye bye.